Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AI Legends, and yeah, guys, I'm finally back with the next part of what Naruto had absolute or infinite chakra and was neglected by his family. So, without any further ado, and yeah, guys, as for the before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to this channel or if you guys are not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It will help me a lot as I want to reach 10k as quick as possible, and I'm quite near to 7k, and it will help me a lot if you guys subscribe to my channel. So please guys do so, and I will be very thankful to you, all of you guys. And yeah, guys, since the like goal and the complete goal is going pretty well, so I think that I should record this video, and when the like and complete goal will be completed, I shall upload this video. So hope that will be done as quick as possible so that I can upload this video for you guys, for your entertainment and all. So without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time we left off as we saw that Itachi went to the Hokage's office as he wanted to get a team, and he finally got it, though Kushina wanted Naruto in her team. But as far Itachi reminded both Minato as well as Kushina that Naruto, though was stronger as well as got more marks than Menma and Mito and even Sasuke and Sasuke, he was still placed as a dead loss because he never attended the academy. So he will have to be put with the Rookie of the Year and the Konoichi of the Year, which Menma and Mito were not, though they had pretty good marks in all the other parts there. You know, the written exam does not say the same thing, which angered Kushina a little bit, but she could not argue with that, even though both Menma and Mito were strong, but they never bothered about learning things, so they really hated it. As for Minato, he had to place Naruto in Itachi's team as Itachi got through, you can say, go through all the tests of as he tricking his siblings, as he told them that how they have already passed, he just want to see that who is the strongest of all three of them, showing them the bell. The one who will get the bell will be considered the strongest, as telling them that how he just want to see that how strong they guys actually are. As Naruto noticed it, as in the end they were still able to capture Itachi as well as putting him in a ceiling array and all, getting even the bell. So finally, let us start our video from here on. As last time we left off, as Sasuke asked Naruto about his past, as Naruto gave her a serious expression and then it turned back as he smiled and said, well, I will tell you about it, but first I would like to eat some ramen as I'm pretty hungry. As Sasuke smiled and said, alright, let us go there, that's the Ichiraku ramen. As Naruto smiled, remembering those guys, flashback, as Naruto was, you can say, 5 years old, as he got kicked away by a civilian. When Naruto told them that how he's the son of Hokage, they started to beat him, telling him that how he's a liar and nothing more than that, as Hokage has only 2 children, Menma and Mito, and he's not one of them. So they did not trusted him, and every time Naruto told them that how he's the Hokage's son, he got beaten up by the villagers. And now he finally arrived one day at the Ichiraku ramen, as he told them, as he started to eat it, as ramen guy realized this kid eat like Kushina. So he asked him who he was, as Naruto hesitated for some time, but he still told them after some time that how he's the Hokage's son, which really shocked both Ayame as well as the ramen guy. But he noticed that how he eats ramen and his similarities with Minato are breathtaking, as he could see that this kid is clearly the son of John Daime, as he said. But we thought that Menma and Mito are the only 2 childs of Hokage, as Naruto looked down and said, well, I never go out with my family, they are always busy training my siblings, as they never take me out to eat. As the ramen guy looked towards the kid, he was really surprised, as Kushina as well as Minato were really nice guy in his eyes, but this changes everything. As he said, oh really kid, huh? So your parents does not treat you right in that manner. As Naruto simply looked down as he smiled and said, well, don't worry kid, you can always get ramen here. The door of this shop will always be open for you. As Naruto looked up and smiled at the guy, as Naruto smiled at the memory, as they trusted him and gave him even free ramen sometime when he did not have, or his parents simply forgot to give him some allowance. As Naruto smiled at the memory as he finally entered into the ramen shop, as he said, hey, as the ramen guy said, alright, the ramen is coming. As he looked back, and then for some time he did not realize the guy, but then his eyes widened and said, what? Naruto, is that you? My boy, as Naruto smiled, hey old man, it seems that you're doing pretty good, huh? As Ayame also arrived. What happened, Dad? As she looked to see Naruto, as she smiled and said, Naruto? As she jumped at Naruto and grabbed him, giving him a big hug. As for Sasuke, she simply grunted at that, looking at the girl, a bit jealous, as not knowing why that actually was, as Naruto smiled and said, hey Ayamini, it's been a while, huh? As she smiled and said, yeah, it has been some while. Where did you even left? And why? Why did you left the village? As Naruto simply smiled and said, well, that's a discussion for another day. Right now, I'm pretty hungry. Can you give me some ramen, huh, old man? As the old man smiled and said, well, what would you like, huh? As Naruto said, same as usual, the Naruto special. As the old man smiled and laughed and said, well, I remember that. Alright, take a seat, kid. And it seemed that you're on a date, huh? With a beautiful lady as her. As Sasuke simply blushed at that, as Naruto also had a faint red on his cheeks and said, well, she's my teammate. Her name is Sasuke Uchiha. As Sasuke bowed down and said, well, my name is Sasuke Uchiha and I'm the teammate of Naruto. As the old man laughed as well as Ayame and said, well, would you like the same, huh? As Sasuke nodded, as Naruto said, well, trust me, Sasuke, the ramen here are excellent. They are something special. As Sasuke smiled and said, well, I did eat here for some time with my mother, but not that much, as it has been some time since I have eaten ramen, so it would be good. As both of them started to eat ramen, as Naruto was discussing, as old man said, so Naruto, why did you left the village? As Sasuke raised an eyebrow at that, as well as looking towards Naruto, wanted to know the answer as well. As Naruto sighed and said, well, do you really want to know, old man? As the old man looked down and said, huh, I see, huh? So it got even more difficult after that. As Naruto simply nodded and said, well, I did not had any choice. And I did wanted to get stronger, but my parents, well, you know the rest. As the old man nodded, as well as Ayame also had a sad expression on their faces. After Naruto left, both old man as well as Ayame lost each and every piece of respect they had in their hearts for Minato, Kushina, or even Menma and Mito, because they were in their eyes, they were spoiled people and an evil person. Even Minato as well as Kushina noticed their behavior with them, and they could only blame themselves for it after realizing why they were giving them strange looks. As this even reminded Kushina when she was a Jinchuriki, and this made her even feel more bad about herself, because she was a Jinchuriki herself, always wanted attention, but when she became a mother and not remained a Jinchuriki, she gave all the focus to her two children and left the one who had the soul, thinking that he was useless, as she started to get breakdown after those thoughts and all. As for Naruto, he simply shrugged it off. But this did not explain anything to Sasuke. She still wanted to know what happened in the past of Naruto. As Naruto ate a lot of ramen and said, alright old man, it was pretty well. As he gave him some money and said, alright, let's go Sasuke. If you're ready, that is. As Sasuke smiled, as Naruto said, well, do you know the favorite place in this whole village of mine? As Sasuke said, what is that going to be? As Naruto said, just come with me. As he grabbed the hand of Sasuke, as Sasuke started to blush at that, as Naruto used his Sunshin and then simply burst into the butterflies and then arrived on the head of the first, or no, you can say third Hokage of the Hokage monument, as he was standing on the head of third Hokage. This, as Sasuke's eyes widened when she realized how beautiful the village actually looks when he looked from this place. Even though Naruto was not liked by the villagers, but still he do not hate the village. He only hates his family for the treatment which they actually gave him. As for the village, he just simply forgave them in time. After all, he was the child of prophecy. Jiraiya, you're going to get a lot of fun in the near future, that is. As Sasuke smiled, as Naruto also smiled and said, last time I had discussion with your brother here before I left the village. As Sasuke looked towards Naruto and said, Naruto, do you feel comfortable telling me about it, huh? Why did you leave the village, huh? As Naruto smiled a chuckle, and then it was, you can say, a hollow chuckle, as he said, well, if you really want to know, then I will tell you. As he started to explain and said, well, from the time I can remember, my parents did not treat me as such as their child. They always neglected me and giving special treatment to my sibling every time we got into some ruffle here and there. They always take their side and did not even care about me. They did not even train me. As I wanted to unlock my chakra for a long time, but can you believe it? At the age of 8, I did not even unlock my chakra. As for my siblings, they unlocked their chakra at the age of 5 and were training for 3 years. Every time I asked my parents that I want to train with them, they just told me that how my siblings are special and I am nothing. As they made me feel like I was just a burden to them, so I just relieved them from their burden and left the village. As the night of my birthday, I always thought that even though they treat my siblings so much like royalty and all, and I think that you already know about it, as Sasuke simply nodded, knowing that the ninth is chakra, as because of that's the main reason both Menma and Mito are so arrogant about it. As I said, well, they, your brother, as well as Shisui-san, gave me two scrolls about the fire techniques and how to unlock my chakra, some chakra control here and there. It was my birthday, and honestly, it was the first gift I ever got from anyone. As Sasuke's eyes widened at this time and tears were coming in her eyes, as Naruto was not looking towards her, but towards the village, with the hollow expression as well as a bit sadness in his eyes could be seen as he said, well, guess what? Both Menma and Mito arrived in my room, took the scrolls and burnt it in front of my eyes. I got so angry, I punched Menma, even though I did not unlock my chakra, I still punched him and even dodged Mito's attack, but then Menma used the Night's power and punched me on my face, breaking my nose, and my mouth was covered with blood, but then my parents arrived, grabbing Menma, giving him a hug as well as Mito, and then when I tried to say something, my mother, as we laughed at the end of it, my so-called mother slapped me on my face, not even bothered to look at how bleeding my face actually was, and then told me that how she do not care and he will never touch Menma, her precious son, as Naruto gritted his teeth at the end of it, and not even my father, so-called the fastest shinobi in the village, realized it and went with Mito, and they even took the title of the heir from me, thus banishing from both of the clans. As Sasuke's eyes widened at this moment, she was crying as tears were leaking from her eyes as Naruto simply laughed. You can say chuckled hollowly as he said, well, to be honest, it doesn't matter. At that night, I finally decided that I do not have any place in the family, in the compound. After all, I was simply, you can say, banished from both of the clans because once the title of a said heir of a clan is removed, then the person or the said heir is thus removed from the clan as well. Though I do not belong to Uzumaki or Namikaze clan, so that's the main reason I do not like when Iruka always pointed out the Uzumaki and Namikaze name with my name. They are not my clan, they are not my family, and I do not want to be with them, and that is final. As Sasuke burst into crying as she hugged Naruto, as Naruto was surprised was her dad, as he was deep in thoughts. He never realized that Sasuke when started to cry as she gave him a big hug and said, well, Naruto-kun, I'm very sorry. I shouldn't have made you remind that, as he was stuttering a little, as Naruto was surprised at this gesture of love, as Naruto hugged her back and said, well, Sasuke-chan, you should not be sad. It is just in past, and I just lost there for a moment. Don't worry, I am okay now. As Sasuke was still in tears as she wiped away tears, unknowingly activating the second Tomoe in her eyes as well. As she said, well, Naruto-kun, don't worry. I always thought that Menma and Mito were arrogant, and now they have another low in my eyes. They are not even worth anything, trust me on that. And your family? I honestly believe that Lord Hokage was a great man, but now he has no respect in my eyes whatsoever. And I believe Itachi and Nisa think the same thing, as Naruto simply shook his head and said, well, don't do anything about it. After all, he's the Hokage, and I don't have anything against him. He did what he thought was right. After all, Man Mito are so-called the childs of prophecy, so it does not matter to me. I have lost faith in them long ago, and they are no longer my family, and it should not bother you as well. Sasuke said, well, it does matter. As Naruto said, well, it does not. I just my bonds with them long ago, and it does not matter to me anymore. As she smiled and said, well, Naruto-kun, I will never leave you. As after when she said that, she started to blush heavily, as Naruto also blushed a little and said, Okay, that is, as she blushed and said, I think I should leave. As Naruto smiled and said, well, allow me to help you. As she grabbed her hand once again, as unknowingly, as she had a blush once again, as Naruto hinting her in front of the Uchiha gates, as Naruto said, alright, see you tomorrow. As he noticed her blush as well as both of them hands together as he blushed as well as he before Sasuke could say anything, censuring away as she sighed and said, well, I have to learn that as well. Or not, by looking towards her hands as she blushed a little and then ran into the Uchiha compound. Now, let us have a small skip. In this time, Minato as well as Kushina were trying their best to bond with Naruto, trying to interact with him more and more, but Naruto was just simply blowing both of them off as they were doing a lot of direct missions as well as Itachi was training all of them as Naruto learned a lot of genjutsus from the Sharingan as Sasuke was really surprised when he saw that Sasuke has two Tomoe Sharingan in both of her eyes as he challenged her that who is going to get the third Tomoe again, though he wanted to challenge Naruto, but Naruto already had the three Tomoe Sharingan in both of his eyes, which motivated him even more, making him a bit jealous as well, though he did not care as he started to train even harder, as Naruto also started to train with them as well as Sasuke even more and more, as they started to spend a lot of time together. As Naruto realized that he had a small crush on Sasuke, but he hesitated a lot of time as Itachi noticed that as well, as he thought in his mind, maybe I should get a girlfriend as well. Well, that is a side note, guys. So, as I was saying, as where was I? As all of them were training, as to Sasuke's, you can say, dismay, it was Sasuke who activated the third Tomoe Sharingan in both of her eyes first, as Sasuke had three Tomoe in one and two Tomoe in the other, which made him pretty angry, as he trained even hard, and after 3 days of hard training, he finally activated the third Tomoe in his eye as well, as Sasuke always reminded him that how she has the three Tomoe as well as Naruto and Itachi, and he is the last person who did not had it, which made Sasuke pretty angry about it. So they were doing a lot of D-rank mission which really annoyed all of them. Even Itachi has a twitching eye when he entered into the, you can say, the mission hall ready to get some missions, as it was the Torah. As Sasuke said, alright, it is the last time I'm going to do this damn mission. As Itachi said, they had already taken the mission. As Itachi said, alright guys, let's go. And now, small time skip. As they were standing, as Itachi was on the tree, as he said, Team 1, are you ready? As Naruto nodded, yeah, I'm on position. As he looked towards and said, 2, are you ready? As Sasuke said, yeah, the target is in front of me. And then he said, alright, 3, are you ready? Catch him. And then Sasuke simply walked into the area and then grabbed the cat and then said, alright, Sensei, the mission is accomplished, as everyone had a sweat drop. At that, as then they came out, as Sasuke had a lot of, you can say, the scratch mark on his face as well as Naruto. As for Itachi, he did not had any, as he said, both of them were glaring at the damn cat, while on the other hand, she was so comfortable in the arms of Sasuke as she simply giggled at their reaction. As Naruto said sighs and said, alright, let us go back, damn it. As all of them nodded and finally go back and gave the cat to the Daniel's wife, and then she squeezed the damn cat and then she finally broke from it and then went off. As Minato said, well, it seemed that the cat is finally gone again. So here we have another mission. Are you guys ready for it? As Sasuke speak up, no, I'm not going to do this damn mission again. As Itachi simply sighed. No matter how much he told his brother to conceive all of his emotions, but every time he go into a bus, even Naruto started to get annoyed from this. As Itachi sighed and said, well, Lord Hokage, I suppose my team is ready for a higher rank mission. They were doing this mission for a long time, and I believe that they can still do it. As Minato said, oh really now? Let's see. Okay then, as he was about to give them a other mission, and then suddenly there was a poof in the room, as it was a dog. As Minato looked towards the dog and then got a small paper that was on it. As we started to read the paper, Lord Hokage, it seemed that our client Tazuna has told us a lie, even though I think that we can handle this mission with Kushina-san and me in here. But I just wanted to inform you that it seemed that Gato wants Tazuna dead, and he has hired some high-ranking shinobi. I have already met two of the strong shinobi. There are Zabuza as well as the Storm of Kumo, Ramen, and S-rank shinobi. Though we have still decided to continue the mission, and we might need some backup here because it seems that our team is not ready for this mission. As Minato's eyes widen, it's like, damn you Kakashi, you should have returned when Ramen is there. Kushina is strong, but she has not been on her top shape as he was thinking in his mind. She is no longer an S-rank shinobi, though could be A rank, but still. Ramen is a dangerous guy, damn it Kakashi, as he looked towards the team and said, well team, it seemed that a mission that I sent on Team 7 has escalated to a rank mission. It seemed that Zabuza Momochi as well as the Ramen, the Storm of Kumo, is also there, as Itachi's eyes widen, as it should not be a mission of C rank category, as Minato nodded and said, well, it seems that it has escalated to a S or even A rank, so I want you guys to go there. As Itachi speak up, well Lord Hokage, I do not believe that my team is ready to go on a S rank or A rank mission, as while everyone glared at Itachi as Minato sighed and said, well, Itachi, it seems that Tazuna is going to need some work there so that he could be protected by Ganins, and you have to take down some of the shinobis. And if some weak shinobis were to arrive, I do not want you guys to be overpowered by them. So I believe that it could be a great experience for them as well. Don't worry, you and S rank and Kakashi and Kushina being there, you should be able to handle it, and the Ganin should be able to protect Tazuna. It is a really important mission. That is the main reason I accepted it. It could even make contact with Wave country, and our village can prosper with it. So Tazuna security is really something to be done. As Itachi understood it, as he said, alright Lord Hokage, if you want to, I will go on this mission with my team. As Minato nodded and said, alright, you may leave. As all of them nodded and went off. Now let us go. As Itachi speak up, alright team, get your packing. We shall be leaving in half an hour. As all of them nodded and went off, and then finally, after half an hour, they finally met at the gate. As Itachi said, alright team, are you guys ready? We have to reach at the land of waves as quick as possible. So we will be leaving this place at the fast speed, as all of them agree. As Naruto said, well Itachi sensei, I have a better idea. As Itachi looked towards Naruto, as Naruto finally bit his thumb, as Itachi realized what Naruto was going to do, as Naruto go to Hansan and said, summoning Chuso, and then suddenly a big eagle was standing in front of all of them. It's Itachi's eyes widened. It was a bird summoning, a great one on that. As Naruto said, well, this one can help us to reach there as quick as possible. As Itachi noticed when Naruto said this one, which means that Naruto has more than one summoning, but he put that at the back of his head as he said, alright team, it should be good. While on the other hand, Sasuke, as well as Sasuke, were at awe, as Sasuke said, Naruto-kun, what is this? As Naruto said, well, it's a summoning Chuso, and I have a contract with eagles, and they are pretty, you can say, useful when it comes to travel. As Sasuke simply grunted, as remembering that how his older brother also have the crow contract, which is pretty handful when it comes to spying and all. As Naruto said, alright, let's go. As everyone nodded, and then finally eagle flew into the air, as everyone was pretty amazed after seeing this as he flew. While on the other hand, inside of, you can say, Konoha, Minato was watching this, as he was really surprised when Naruto summoned the whole eagle in front of him, as he said, where did he get the eagle summoning? I thought it just vanished with the fall of Uzukakure. As he was thinking in his mind, wait a minute, could it be? All of this time, Naruto was in Uzukakure? But how? There were barriers. It does not make sense. As he was going through all the possibilities, how did Naruto got the eagle contract and all that? And now let us go. As in 10 minutes, Naruto as well as the whole team finally arrived at the Wave village, as it was pretty quick, and then finally the eagle landed at the border. As Naruto said, thanks. As the eagle shook his head and said, alright Naruto-sama, we shall meet again. As Naruto smiled, as the eagle poof away. As Sasuke said, well, Naruto-kun, that was great. I never thought that I could fly in the air like that. As Naruto smiled, well, if you like it, you can have the contract with them as well. As Sasuke's eyes widened and said, really? I can get the contract as well? As Naruto laughed and said, well, if you want it with the eagles, I have the contract and I can ask them if you want to be a summoner, that is. As Sasuke said, well, it could be great to have a bird contract, but it does not suit me. I will have even a much powerful contract. As Naruto laughed and said, well, that is that, Sasuke. When you get the contract. As Sasuke grunted at that, already knowing that there are not much strong contract in the possession of Konoha. As Itachi said, well, it is not always about the power. How you use a contract is also important. For example, my crow, though it could not be comparable to the snake or the toad contract in power, but their uses far outclass both snake as well as the toad contract or even slug contract. They can get anywhere and get a lot of, you can say, information, and with my Sharingan I can even put many people in Genjutsu by using my crows. As Sasuke simply grunted at that, as Naruto laughed and said, alright, let's go. As Itachi nodded, as with his Sharingan as well as sensory ability, they were able to get to the most powerful chakra that was around. And now let us go to Minato's POV, Kushina. I know that this mission is dangerous and I should have sent only Itachi, but I think that Naruto being there, it could be a great opportunity for you to bond with him as well. As he sighed, I guess it would not be a bad idea, as he thought in his mind, as Itachi was also going through the same thing. He knew that he trusted his abilities as well as the abilities of Kakashi of protecting the bridge builder as well as finishing off Zabuza as well as Ramen. So he knew the possibility that he just wanted to send Naruto and send his siblings as well, so that Naruto could bond with his parents and his so-called siblings and all. But he simply sighed in his mind, thinking that it would not be a bad idea, possibly, that is, if they do not turn into a battle, that is. As finally they arrive at the room, as Itachi knock on the door in his usual manner. Well, I remember when Itachi and Kisame came for Naruto, knocking on the door and all that. Well, it was a pretty funny scene, to be honest, as and a bit scary as well. As Itachi knocked on the door, as a lady opened the door, as Itachi looked towards her, as she said, well, who are you guys? Then she noticed the headband that was on the head of Itachi, as she smiled and said, so are you from Konoha, the backup? As Itachi smiled and said, well, me and my team are sent here by Lord Hokage to back the team which arrived here to protect Tazuna's son. As she smiled and said, well, come in. As she arrived to see that how Kushina was discussing with Menma and Mito and Sakura. As for Kakashi, he still got knocked out thanks to all the exhaustion he went through. While on the other hand, Menma and Mito noticed Naruto, as both of them, their eyes turns into pure hatred, with Kushina noticed as Menma speak up, hey you loser, what are you doing here? As Naruto simply ignored him. As Mito said, hey you, just answer it already. He asked you something, and when he say answer it, as you failure, as Kushina speak up, alright, that is enough, Menma, Mito, shut up. As both of them wanted to argue, as then Naruto speak up, well, I am here to save your sorry asses. I heard that it got kicked pretty badly. Now Menma had it, as he said, damn you, you failure, you're nothing, and we do not need your pathetic team help. We can do whatever we want, and I will beat that Zabuza next time. You will see, you damn loser. As Mito as well as Menma were glaring at Naruto, as Sasuke speak up, well, it doesn't matter. We are a lot stronger than you. That is the main reason we are sent here, to save your sorry asses. Though I heard that it got kicked pretty badly. As he gave Menma a smirk, as Menma was about to latch towards him. As Itachi speak up, well, Kushina-san, well, I am sent here by Lord Hokage, as he wants us to take care of Tazuna. And you already know the importance of this mission, don't you? And I am here to also take care of Ramen. I believe that you can take on Zabuza-san. Though I wonder where Kakashi-san actually is. As Kushina sighed and said, well, Kakashi, he got pretty tired while using the Sharingan. as Itachi sighed, as he always thought that though Kakashi could use the Sharingan pretty well, but still it could be a liability because he do not have the enough chakra to use it. Then his mind go to Naruto. That Naruto, without being a Uchiha, non-Uchiha, he can easily use the Sharingan. But that is beside the point. Now he has some other things to worry about. As he sighed and said, "Alright, I will see if I can help Kakashi-san. I don't know a bit of medical ninjutsu." As Kushina said, well, I did use that kind of jutsu, but it still did not work. And I think that a bit of rest will make him recover. As Itachi nodded and said, "Well, till then, I think that we should train our Genin. Give me a proper report." As Kushina nodded and report everything that how a missing nin arrived and took Zabuza. As for Ramen, he also got pretty injured in the battle thanks to her chakra chains, but he still ran away. As now Itachi nodded and said, "Well, I believe that the missing nin was a fake." As Kushina nodded and said, "Well, I believe so as well. And I think that it will take 2 weeks for Zabuza as well as Ramen from the injuries that I gave him to return normal." As Itachi nodded, "Then we should train our Genins and be ready for anything." As Kushina nodded and then Menma speak up. We don't need any training from you. We are already strong enough to beat him to the ground." And then Kushina glared at Menma and said, "Well, Menma, last time I checked, you were trembling in pure fear in front of Zabuza's bloodlust." This make both Sasuke as well as Naruto to burst into pure laughter, as both of them were simply laughing as Menma glared at Naruto as well as Mito glared as he said, "Shut up, you damn loser." As Naruto simply laughed and said, "Well, it does not matter. Whatever you say, Menma." As Kushina said, "Well, Menma, just that is enough." And then Itachi looked towards Naruto. "Alright, Naruto, that is enough." As Naruto nodded along with Sasuke as he said, "Well, we should train. So, what should we train in?" As Menma said, "I do not know if you know any great jutsu, you Uchiha, but I have a lot of jutsu and I will use them to beat down Zabuza next time. You will see, all of you will see." As after saying that, he burst out of the room along with Mito. As for Sakura, she was still a bit fearful after the bloodlust which she experienced, but still her Sasuke-kun was in front of her, so that is that. Wait a minute, guys. And now we have a small flashback, a small time skip as they were all training, as Itachi was trying to teach both Sasuke as well as Mito about the advanced chakra control as they were on the water, as Itachi's shadow clone was attacking them with their kunai as they had to dodge it, as while activating this Sharingan trying to, you can say, let's see, what's the proper word about it, exhaust them, as it will increase their chakra control as well as increase their chakra reserves. While Itachi knew that it was pointless for Naruto because he saw the immense control which Naruto had, as well as this boy could even walk on air if he wants to, as Itachi thought jokingly, you can say, in his mind, as well as the amount of chakra it will take years with such exercises to, you can say, exhaust him of anything. As while on the other hand, Naruto was doing his own kind of training secretly, while on the other hand, Menma and Mito were trying to make chains and increase their chain control, as Mito had the chain just like Kushina, while on the other hand, Menma was trying to make the Rasengan from a single hand, wanted to master the Rasengan single-handedly, but it was not working that great. As Naruto was passing by, as Kushina noticed it, as he said, "Naruto," as Naruto stopped, not looking towards her, "I was wondering if you also like to train with me, as I can teach you some things. I saw the sword with you. If you want, I can show you some stances. I'm better than Itachi in that manner, you know." As Naruto did not look towards her, as he simply started to walk away, as then Mito grunted as she said, "Look towards my mom when she talked with you, you damn failure." As then the chains started to rush towards Naruto, ready to catch him. But then Kushina said, "Stop it, Mito." But before she could stop, the chains burst from the back of Naruto's and then simply slap away the chains of Mito, as everyone eyes widened Menma, Mito, Kushina, as then the chains burst towards Mito, wrapping her all around, as Mito had red eyes in pure anger. as she said, "Damn you, how did you get the chains?" As her eyes changed into red, licking the 90th chakra, the chains burst from Naruto once again, wrapping all around her and then catching her. You can say, as Naruto speak up, well, it does not matter how much of a control you actually have over the power of the Nine Tails. It should not be wise that you are leaking the power here. The people here are not shinobi, Mito. I do not want you going berserk on them by glaring at Mito, while on the other hand Kushina was way too shocked that Naruto has the chains just like her, while on the other hand Menma was gritting his teeth. He did not inherit the chains just like his siblings now, as he was now getting angrier and angrier by each and every moment, as he said, "Damn you loser, release her now!" As Naruto simply ignored him, which made Menma even more angry as he said, "Well Mito, this is the last warning, use the 90th chakra here again and you will regret it." As he released Mito as already absorbing a lot of 90th chakra thanks to his chakra chains, which is one of the abilities not Kushina knew about it, while Naruto was absorbing the 90th chakra from Mito, giving it back to Kurama, while on the other hand Kurama already had 20% of the chakra returned back to him. He was still nowhere near to his full power or anything because the kids were not using that much chakra for now, that is. And now let us go back as Naruto said, "Alright, I'll be leaving now," as he simply vanished from the area as Menma gritted his teeth as he said, "Mom, teach me that Shinchuin as well. That damn loser cannot get better of me at that." But then suddenly he met with a slap to his face as he was on the ground, his eyes widened along with Mito's eyes as Kushina said, I have enough of this, Menma, and you too, Mito. I told you, it is not wise to always release the 90th chakra out of nowhere. And what is wrong with both of you guys? He's your brother." As Menma gritted his teeth as he glared at Kushina with his red eyes with a slate, as Kushina take a step back as he said, "He's no brother of mine. We share the same blood. It is already insulting enough." As by saying that, he slammed the imperfect Rasengan into the tree, blowing it off and then went off as Mito also glared at Kushina and said, "He's no brother of mine as well. Just remember that." As she also went after Menma. As Kushina was in utter shock, there was hatred among the siblings and she could not even explain it. But then it was all her fault. It was all the fault of Minato and her, and she could not blame anyone of it, as she simply looked down. Now we have a, you can say, time skip. As they were eating the dinner and all, as they were on their table, as Kakashi was able to recover a little bit after healing from Kushina, as they were eating, as then still, what was his name again? The kid, little kid, Toneri, I think, yeah, that was the name. As he finally arrived, as still said the same thing and said, "You know, all of you are going to die." As all of them looked towards him, and everyone was surprised as he said, "Why bother? All of you are going to die." And then he noticed that Naruto was not paying any attention, and just as Itachi was just looking towards him blankly, as he said, "Hey you, why are you always smiling and all that? You must be living comfortably in your village. You have your parents and all always taking care of you, while we suffer here. You guys do not know anything, especially you." As he looked towards Naruto, who always had a smile on his face most of the time around his team and all, but not that much because it's not like original Naruto, as always being cheerful and all. "You do not know a thing about suffering we do here. He killed my father in the center of the village, and yet you guys live comfortably in the village. You do not know the Kato cannot be defeated by anyone." As Naruto at this point was getting angrier and angrier as he slammed his hand into the table, while on the other hand Mito was still in the, you can say, outside, being angry that their mother actually slapped Menma, being angry and all, so they were not there. As then Naruto slammed his hand into the table and said, "Listen to me, you damn brat." For a moment his eyes turned into red with the Sharingan, but no one noticed it except Itachi, but it reverted back. You're telling me that I do not know a thing about suffering? Huh? Guess what, kid? Huh? You have a mother, you have a grandfather who's like a father to you. Guess what? I never had the family my so-called parents were so busy with their miraculous child that they did not even bother to realize that I was there as well. They even forgot to give me food here. While look around, you have food all over your table. You have a parent, you have a room, you have family who take care of you. While I, all of my life, I just wanted to be realized. But then, look here, huh? It does not matter to me either way. I stood up, and even all the neglection from my family, they never bothered with me anything. But yet I am here, ready for anything. Look at you, you are just crying for nothing. Your life is full of luxuries and all, and you will never realize what true suffering actually is. So never ever told me what suffering actually is. As I slammed the table so hard it shattered into pieces as he burst out of the room. As while on the other hand, Sasuke was glaring at Kushina as Kushina had tears in her eyes which were leaking from her eyes, while on the other hand Tazuna and her daughter were in utter shock of the outburst. As for the Toneri, he was crying as he simply went to his room as it was a birth. As Naruto went into the forest, started to train hard. As now, after some time, he finally started to sleep, and then Menma and Mito were passing by as Mito said, "Hey brother, look there." As Menma looked there to see Naruto sleeping as he gritted his teeth. So the failure is out, huh? Well, it could be a great opportunity, Mito said, as Menma smirked as he took out a kunai. Alright, you damn failure. You should have remained out of our family. You dare return back to the village, trying to show that you are better than us? Alright, it's about time that I get rid of you. As he started to walk towards Naruto with a kunai in his hand, but before he could even went there, several kunai stuck into the ground as he jumped back to see Sasuke glaring at him with her 3 Tomoe Sharingan in both of her eyes as he jumped into the clearing and said, "Menma, Mito, get lost before I do anything I might regret later on. I do not want to disturb Naruto-kun, so get lost now." As Menma and Mito glared at her and then finally gritted their teeth and went off. As she looked towards Naruto and gave a small smile, a sadness, and then finally took a seat beside him and then put his head on her shoulder and then started to sleep with him, while on the other hand Itachi was watching all of this with a small smile on his face and then burst into crows and went off. As for now, we have a time skip, and finally it was time for the battle against Zabuza and Ramen and Haku. As Menma and Mito were trapped in the Haku's mirror, while on the other hand Itachi was engaging in a battle against Storm of Komo, Ramen. As for Zabuza, he was fighting against Kakashi as well as what was it? Kushina, and he had another, you can say, partner with him. He also had the Ice Kick Again guy, as both of them were fighting off against Kakashi, as Kakashi also got trapped in the ice mirrors, while on the other hand Kushina tried her chains to break the mirrors, but Zabuza was not letting her do anything as Kushina engaged in a sword battle with Zabuza, and she saw that how difficult it was getting as she realized that how she has gotten weakened over the years. She was sobbing for Naruto, for her child that has left her family, which made her a lot weaker over the years as Zabuza was getting the upper hand on her. While on the other hand, it was the twin brother, as it was, you can say, rather twin sisters if you want to, or brother or sister, whatever, it does not matter because I don't think that I will include them because I do not do the damn harems, so I will not do in it as well. So Haku as well as his twin sister or something like it, just remember that, as who trapped Kakashi, as Kakashi was also pretty, you can say, occupied. Damn it, whenever there are so many people it always just got boring as they can easily take them down. As for Ramen, he was doing pretty well against Itachi with the Zabuza's mirror. It was simply getting, you can say, how to explain it. Yeah, I finally got an idea how this story can actually go. As with the mist all around the place, Itachi's Sharingan was not doing that much good to him. Though Itachi did not care about the Sharingan because his own skills were on another level. So he finally was engaging with Ramen. While on the other hand, Menma and Mito tried to use the 90s chakra, but Haku's brother who was fighting them easily got it and then quickly knocked both of them out, as both of them were out, while on the other hand, the team, you can say Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura as well as Sasuke were simply protecting Tazuna, as Naruto greeted his date and said, well, damn it is simply getting way too much boring here. As Sasuke also agreed and he simply wanted to rush into the battle, as he looked towards Sasuke and said, alright Sasuke, with Sakura, can you protect Tazuna? We have to go there. I think that my so-called siblings are already knocked out and the other guy is coming for me. As she nodded and then went off, as it was Haku who was there, as he started to fight off against Sasuke, and both of them engaged in a taijutsu battle, as Haku quickly realized that he just simply have to kill the bridge builder, otherwise they are not going to get rid of this mission and it is getting a lot of difficult. So he simply slipped past Sasuke with incredible speed and then throwing some sandmons at Sasuke so that he could be occupied, as Naruto realized, so he threw his kunai towards the sandbombs, blocking a lot of them, as Haku arrived with the sandbombs, as he threw the sandbombs towards Tazuna, a lot of them, and quickly go through Hansai's sandbombs Shadow Clone Jutsu, as the sandbombs multiply into several, as Sasuke quickly realized, so she quickly go through Hansai and said, Fireball Jutsu, as the fireball burst into the sandbombs, deflecting them, but some of them went past and then one of them hit Sasuke on her neck, as she got knocked out, as she was on the ground, as she was caught off guard at that, while on the other hand, Itachi was engaging in a battle, as Sasuke gritted his teeth as he glared at the guy, thinking that, while on the other hand Naruto was getting angry. Suddenly, a burst of chakra could be fed across the whole wave village. Even Kushina, Menma and Mito were knocked out. First he thought that it was Menma and Mito who released this chakra, but no, it was not the 90s chakra. Itachi's eyes widened along with Zabuza and Ramen. All of them were in utter shock and some of them even scared for their life. This amount of chakra even surpasses the level of 8 tails, and it is a pretty terrifying feeling when there is a Biju standing in front of you, as Naruto let out a roar of power as the chakra simply burst from his body, as he glared at Haku, as Haku took a step back in pure utter fear. Inside of Naruto's mind, his emotions were going haywire, while on the other hand, Kurama was pretty intrigued. For a moment, his chakra burst and it surpassed the level of 8 tails chakra and getting quite near to his half of his power pretty rapidly, as Naruto vanished from the area, and the next thing they knew, Haku's body was burst into the ice mirror, which inside of which Kakashi was, as he slammed into his brother or sister, both of them slamming on the other side in front of Zabuza. Everyone's eyes widened at that, knocking both of them out, as Naruto quickly go through Hansai and said, fire style, fire destruction, as a big fire flame rushed towards Zabuza, as Kushina quickly burst from that area, as she jumped, you can say, into the river, into the water, while on the other hand, Itachi also burst into the crows, as the big fire, it was just like Madara's fire annihilation, as the big flame was rushing towards, as Zabuza quickly go through Hansai's water style, water dragon, as well as Ramen also go through Hansai, going through water style, water wave, as both of the attacks rushed towards the water fire destruction, but he did not budge, as the fire was still going through, as both of them were in utter shock, as Zabuza put his blade in front of him, ready to reduce all the damage he could, but it was to no avail. He wanted to protect the 2 kids that were behind him, as Ramen also tried his best to engulf his body in fire chakra, knowing that there's no way to run away now, as the attack burst into both of them, blowing both of them, sending them flying, as Zabuza was able to protect Haku and all, while on the other hand, Ramen was also pretty injured. As then, suddenly, before he could do anything, Kakashi arrived in front of Ramen, who did not have that much damage because of the fire chakra all around him, as he was able to evade a lot of the attack, and then Itachi burst his Chidori through his chest, killing him immediately. As Zabuza was panting heavily, his water chakra, at the last moment he engulfed himself as well as Haku, as well as his brother, into the water dome, protecting both of them, but the fire attack was very dangerous, while on the other hand half of the bridge was simply burnt off as well. So that is the plus point. You want to know that if you, as Naruto was glaring at them still, but then got arrived and things started to play out the same, as Zabuza still killed off, but Naruto did not let them die, as Naruto arrived with a, you can say, lightning bolt in his hand as he slammed into the bridge, as Tazuna said, "My bridge," as the bridge burst into the lightning on the other side and then engulfing all the goons, turning them into nothingness. As Zabuza was really surprised, he thought that no one will help him, as Naruto said, "Alright, I will discuss things with you later on." Okay guys, here I will love this part to be guys. Like it, press like and subscribe. If you guys want the next part, then the like goal, you already know that it's going 350 likes, and the comment goal is 200 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. So guys, peace, 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 and peace. And subscribe, 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 and subscribe guys. Yeah guys, please do so. Subscribe.